Facilitation is not a presentation, a lecture, nor a speech. So what is facilitation?
Okay, Cochin City, we raised 2,05,700.
Hey everybody, my name is Gautham and I am back in my office in Goa after facilitating 2 training sessions in Cochin and in Trivandrum. So in this video, I'm just going to quickly share about my 3-step framework that I follow while facilitating. Please note that this is my 3-step framework. So this is not coming from an expert or anything like that, but this is just something that I follow. I've told you what facilitation is not, but what is facilitation? So the Google definition of that is just to make an action or a process easier. So that's exactly what you're doing as a facilitator. For example, say that you're facilitating a meeting in your office and the end goal or the end objective is that you all need to come up with a decision for the project. So based on that, you need to facilitate a conversation or a meeting around it so that every team member actually contributes to the final decision. You want to just ensure that they are not talking about some other project, they're not talking about some other decision or anything else that is outside the scope of it, which is not contributing to the decision at all. So it can be for training purposes, it can be for retrospection purposes, it can be for coming up with a decision, it can be for innovation. So whatever the purpose is, whatever the end objective is, you need to facilitate that conversation. So that's your role as a facilitator. So here's my 3-step framework. Number 1, know your audience. So in my case, when I was traveling to Cochin and Trivandrum, these volunteers have been in the system for about 3 to 4 months right now. So what does that mean? They already know a little bit about the organization. They already know a little bit about the children that they're teaching for. They are friends with some people. They may not know some others very well. So I can start from there. I don't have to necessarily give full context about what is it that we do, what is the organization about. I don't have to start from scratch. I can take it from there. So know when and where you're going to be facilitating. It may not work out perfectly all the time, but that's something that you can be prepared for while going in. So number 1, know your audience. Number 2, connect with your audience. So while I was in Cochin, I had a friend there called Afsar who was managing a lot of operations in Cochin. And what he did was he just took me around to meet all the volunteers in the city. So there were some volunteers who were taking classes for the children, some volunteers were just hanging out. I met with them, and eventually what ended up happening was during the event, like say about 40 people were there, I already knew like 10-15 people. I already had some connection with them. Now I know that that may not be the case every time, so even for me that just happened once. So you might still have to facilitate sometimes in a room full of strangers. So here what you really want to be doing is you want to bring your authentic self forward. People need to see that you are human and like you want to establish some sort of connection. So it's okay even if you're a little nervous, it's okay if you're a little excited. Do share these things with the audience so that like as long as they care about you a little, it definitely helps for connection. But it also goes the other way around too. I think you as a facilitator should care about your audience also a little bit. So then that forms a very good connection to facilitate your session. So that's number 2, connect with your audience. And number 3 is respect your audience. What do I mean by respect? Practice, practice, practice. Please go in prepared. Please go in fully prepared for your session. It depends on how you're preparing. Maybe you need 10 hours to prepare, maybe you need 1 hour, but ensure you get that practice done before you're going ahead and meeting them. Anybody who says I can just go there and wing it, I'm not for it, because nobody wings it at the spot. One of my very favorite teachers in college was this professor called Dr. Muthukumar, and he taught immunology for us. Though he's my favorite professor because his classes were a lot of fun, it was very engaging, a lot of insights, it was great. But even with my favorite professor, I can still say when he comes to the class prepared or when he comes to the class a little unprepared. So this is just me, a normal college going student who can sense that. So your audience is always smarter than you. So they can always sense when you come in prepared or when you go into the session not prepared. So please don't go ahead and wing it. Prepare and then go and then wing it. So that was my 3-step framework for facilitation. I hope in this video you learned a thing or two. So if you like my video, please subscribe, and until next time.